What is up, Spartans, and welcome back to another episode of the Battle of the Balls. For today's event, we are going to discuss two of our gladiators, the fierce volleyball versus the vicious football. And let the battle begin. So now we're going to discuss the different areas and parts of a volleyball court. A volleyball court is almost the same as the badminton court. The only difference is the dimension and the addition of attack lines. The volleyball court is 18 meters long and 9 meters wide. Here are some court lines found in a volleyball court. First is the outer line. This marks the limits of where the ball is at stake. If the ball touches outside of these lines, the opposing team or the enemy will get a point. Second is the central line. This is the line that divides the two teams. In this way, it defines the field of each team, and this is also where the net is located. Third is the attack line. This line can be found on both fields. It is parallel to the center line and has 3 meters distance to each half. It is called a line of attack because it separates the area of attack from the defense. The defensive player may, however, jump before the line and tap the ball above the height of the net while it's suspended in the air. There are different game areas inside a court. First is the free zone. It is outside the court, which allows players to catch the ball even they are off the court, as long as the ball is alive. Second is the attack zone. This zone is between the net and the line of attack, in which are the three players attack. Second is the defense zone, or the back zone. This is where the defensive players stand who are responsible for receiving most of the balls that came from the other team.
So in a volleyball court, there is a total of 6 positions or roles that the team players need to fulfill. First is the setter, who has the biggest contribution in the game. Kung walang setter, edi walang magsaset ng ball. Yung mangyayari din is, syempre yung second ball mapupunta sa isang player who does not specialize in setting. So the tendency is, the ball will not be set properly to the spikers to do the offense. The second position are the spikers. So there is actually 2 types of spikers in a team. So the first type of spiker are the outside hitters. They are the ones who spike at the left side of the court and they are the lead attackers of the team. The second type are the outside hitters who needs to be flexible between offense and defense. They are the ones who spike at the right side of the court and they are trained to adapt into different situations during the game. The third position is the middle blocker. They are usually the tallest of the team and they are the ones responsible for blocking the attacks of the opposing team. The fourth position is the libero. If you will watch a game, you will see a team member who has a different colored jersey. They can only play at the back rows, so they are trained to have the best receiving and digging skill in the team. So the last position are the defensive specialists. So they come in during the game as a substitute for the back row people who does not have the best skills in receiving. And those are the positions in a volleyball game.
So today, let's talk about volleyball skills. There are 2 main skills that you need to learn if you want to go into volleyball, which are spiking and blocking. There are different ways on how to spike. Merong hard-driven spike, off-speed spike, and one-hand tip. A hard-driven spike requires more force in hitting the ball, while the off-speed spike is controlled so that the player can direct it to an open area on the opponent's side of the court. On the other hand, a one-hand tip, in my opinion, is a sneaky move because the player can direct the ball deeper and it can catch the opponent off guard. There are also different styles in which a spike can be performed. First is a cross-court shot, in which the attacking player hits the ball from the left side of the court and then it lands on the right side of the opponent's court, and vice versa. Similar to this is the cut shot. It is like the cross-court shot but with a sharper angle. Then opposite to these 2 moves is the line shot, in which the ball lands in the area in front of the attacking player. And when approaching for a spike, players can do 3 or 4 steps before jumping, but the last 2 steps are always quicker so that they can jump higher and aim for a good spike. Next is blocking, which is a very difficult defense move, especially if the opponent's team has a good spiker. A player needs to start in a good position when they're going to block an incoming ball. Jumping high and a good arm angle is always recommended. Also, a player needs to be aware of the whole court since sometimes There are decoy players on the opponent's team, which is why you need to be attentive and your reaction time must be quick.
Now that we've talked about volleyball, let's go ahead and score a goal with football.
Let's move on to the next sport, which is the football. When playing football, you will need the necessary equipments. I will be introducing 3 equipments for football. The first one is the ball, which is considered to be the main equipment of the sport. The player's goal is to kick the ball into the net to score a goal. Basically, the whole game revolves around this. The ball is spherical and made of leather with a weight of 410 grams to 450 grams. The circumference is not more than 70 grams and not less than 68 grams. The next equipment is the shin guard. The shin guard is worn on the front of the player's shin. Shin guard provides shock absorption, which decreases the risk of serious injuries. Shin guards are usually made of polyurethane, fiberglass, plastic, and foam rubber. So for our last equipment, we have the cleats. These are shoes with spikes that provides better traction on the ground, which prevents players to slip. This also helps them to maintain their balance. Cleat keeps the player's feet comfortable while playing because it has a soft padding inside. Cleats are usually made up of a variety of materials from synthetics to leathers.
Today, I'm gonna teach you 5 football terms. First is the kick-off. So yung kick-off, nangyayari siya at the start of the game, start of the second half, at after every goal. The ball will be placed at the center point, at the center line. Then a player will kick it. Before either team touches the ball, it must complete 1 full revolution. Both teams must also stay at their own side of the field. Second, handball. It happens every time a player, other than the goalie, touches the ball with his or her arm from the shoulder up to the fingers. The handball violation will not be called if the player does not gain an advantage or possession of the ball. Third, fouls. Like in basketball, it is an illegal play. It is like pushing a player, tripping a player, or pulling the jersey of the player. Fouls can result into free kicks and also yellow cards for mild offenses and red cards if it's very dangerous play. Fourth, free kicks. It happens every time a player is called for a foul or handball violation. So when there is a free kick, other teams must stay 10 yards away from the player who's gonna do the free kick. If after 3 or 4 warnings the player doesn't go far away enough, a yellow card will be called. Fifth, drop ball. It happens every time there's a suspension of play. And the ball will be taken where the play stopped, except at the goal area. Once the ball hits the ground, it will be considered a live play. The player can either shoot, pass, or dribble the ball. Those are 5 terms in football.
Let's talk about the skills that are executed in football. There are 3 different skills in football: dribbling, passing, and trapping. Firstly, dribbling is done by controlling the ball across the field with light kicks or bounces, mainly using the surface of your feet to hit the ball. One tip for this is to try to touch the ball with each step you take. Next is passing. Now this is done by giving the ball to another teammate using the inside of your foot. Make sure there's no opponent to steal the ball from you as you pass it to another player. And lastly, we have trapping, which is basically receiving or stopping the ball by angling your foot perpendicular to an incoming ball. Doing this softens the ball's impact and you get to keep the ball in your possession. Foot traps are essentially common, but some players trap the ball using their thighs or chest.
That concludes this week's vlog. Make sure to follow our social media accounts and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button in order to have the latest updates. See you next week!